The money in your pocket is dying right now, not as a metaphor. As you read this sentence, the number in your bank account is buying slightly less than it did this morning. Tomorrow, it will buy less than today. You will work, you will save, you will do everything right, and the value will leak out of it anyway, quietly, on a schedule, like air from a tire with a hole too small to hear. We call this inflation, and we treat it like weather, something that just happens, something modern, something the news explains with charts and central bankers. But inflation is not modern. It is not an accident. It is one of the oldest tricks in human history. Older than paper money, older than banks, older than the word economy itself. The first time human beings invented money, they almost immediately invented a way to secretly steal it back. And in 4,000 years, we have never once stopped. Ask most people why prices go up, and they'll point at something recent. A government, a crisis, too much printing, a politician they don't like. And some of that is real. But here's the problem with that story. It assumes inflation is something that started going wrong somewhere in living memory, that once money held its value, and then we broke it. That's backwards. Money has been losing its value for as long as money has existed. Every society that ever minted a coin eventually shaved it. Every currency that was ever trusted was eventually debased. Not some of them. All of them. The pattern is so consistent that it stops looking like a series of mistakes and starts looking like a law of nature. To see it, you have to go back to the very beginning, to the first money, and the first lie told about it. The first money wasn't coins. It was weight. In ancient Mesopotamia, 4,000 years ago, you paid in measured amounts of silver or grain, weighed out on a balance against a set of standard stones. The whole system depended on one thing, that the weights were honest. They were not. We have laws from Babylon and warnings carved into stone condemning the false balance, the merchant with two sets of weights, a heavy one for buying and a light one for selling. This is the first inflation, not a number on a screen. A man with a filed-down stone, quietly making your silver worth a little less than you thought. The technology was primitive. The instinct was already fully formed. And it gets bolder. Around 400 BCE, a ruler named Dionysius of Syracuse ran up debts he couldn't pay. So he ordered every silver coin in the city handed in, on pain of death. Then he took those coins, restamped each 1 drachma piece as 2 drachmas, and used them to pay back exactly what he owed. Overnight, he doubled the money and halved its worth. The philosopher Aristotle recorded it, because even then people recognized it as a kind of magic trick, the state conjuring value out of nothing and quietly passing the loss to everyone who held the old money. But the greatest example, the one that should genuinely unsettle you, is Rome. When Rome was strong, its coin, the denarius, was almost pure silver. Then, in the year 64, the Emperor Nero did something small. He shaved the silver content down just a little and kept the difference. It worked. Nobody rioted. The coins still spent. So the next emperor did it again. And the next. Over the following 2 centuries, the silver in the denarius fell from over 90% to 50 to 25 to 5. By the middle of the 3rd century, a silver coin was a copper slug with a thin silver wash that rubbed off in your hand. Prices didn't creep up. They exploded. Soldiers demanded to be paid in more coins, so the emperors made more coins with even less silver, which made prices rise faster, which made the soldiers demand even more. A spiral. The same spiral we would later give a modern name. In the year 301, the Emperor Diocletian tried to stop it by force. He issued an edict fixing the maximum price of everything: bread, wine, boots, labor, with death as the penalty for charging more. It failed completely. Merchants simply stopped selling rather than sell at a loss, and goods vanished from the markets. You cannot outlaw the consequences of debasing your own money. Rome had learned that the machine, once started, does not come with a break, and here is the part that matters. This did not happen because the Romans were foolish, or greedy, or uniquely corrupt. It happened because whoever controls the money is always standing in front of the same temptation, to spend more than they have, and to make up the difference by quietly making everyone else's money worth less. That temptation never goes away. It is built into the position itself. Give any person, any government, any empire the power to create money, and eventually, not always quickly, but eventually, they will use it to pay for the present by stealing from the future. 2,000 years after Nero, in 1923, Germany showed the world how fast that machine could run once it had a printing press instead of a coin file. To cover its debts, the government simply printed money, more and more of it, until the numbers lost all meaning. A loaf of bread that once cost a couple of marks eventually cost hundreds of billions. People carried cash in wheelbarrows and burned banknotes for heat, because the paper was worth less than firewood. Same disease as Rome, same root, just industrial speed. Now here is where you come in. Because we tell ourselves all of this is history. That modern money is different, managed, scientific, stable. We have economists. We have central banks. We have controls. But the mechanism never changed. It only became invisible. The economist Milton Friedman put it simply. Inflation is, always and everywhere, a monetary phenomenon. It is not caused by greedy shopkeepers or bad luck. It is caused by there being more money chasing the same goods, which is exactly what Nero did with his file and Germany did with its press. And here was the detail almost nobody stops to sit with. Modern central banks do not try to stop inflation. They target it. They aim, on purpose, for your money to lose roughly 2% of its value every single year. And they call that number healthy and stable. 2% sounds like nothing, but it means your money is designed to melt. It means a currency that quietly loses more than half of its buying power over an ordinary human lifetime, by policy, not by accident. The Roman clipped his coin with a file, and at least you could see the shavings on the floor. The modern system does the same thing with a keyboard, and there are no shavings to see. That is the only real innovation in 4,000 years. We made the theft invisible. The coin in your pocket looks whole. The number in your account looks stable. And every year, silently, a little more of it is gone. So look again at the money you're carrying. That coin, that number, that balance you check without thinking. It is running the exact same program that ran in Nero's Rome, in Dionysius' Syracuse, in a Babylonian marketplace 4,000 years ago. Every generation is told the same comforting thing, that this time it's different. This time the money is managed. This time the grown-ups have it under control. It has never once been different. So when you feel like you're running faster just to stay in the same place, working harder, earning more, and somehow never getting ahead, understand that you are not imagining it, and it is not a personal failure. You are standing on the same ground the Romans stood on, watching the same thing happen to your money that happened to theirs. Just slowly enough that you can almost ignore it. The money always dies. That part has never changed, and it isn't going to. The only questions that were ever really in your hands are how fast it's dying, and whether you notice before it does.